Hey everyone, you're listening to the Eagle Experience, a St. Edmund Prep podcast. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're your hosts, Stephanie
and Madison.
And we're so excited for you to join us today. It's been a very, very long time.
Yes, so last time we talked a little bit with Father Mark about the more faithful side or faithful experience, but today we're going to be talking a little bit about like the academic side, like IB. Mm-hmm. So you may have heard a little bit about the IB program, but because we mentioned it before, but I really doubt you know what it is. So we are going to dive into that a little bit today.
Yes,
okay?
Because St. Edmund Prep is actually the only Catholic high school in the tri-state area to offer IB, so it makes sense why it's a little blurry for you guys.
Yeah. So Stephanie and I, we are full IB students. So we're going to be inviting some of our peers to join us and talk about our IB experience. So yeah, it's actually going to be a triple feature because we're going to be also talking to our IB coordinator.
Yeah, so today we're going to have two IB students, Ana Kanashvili and Elizabeth Riabov, as well as our IB coordinator, Mrs. K. So we're going to first introduce Ms. K.
All right. So, hi, Miss K.
Hi.
The first question we wanted to ask you is a little bit of a broad, overarching question about your character. So, who is Miss K?
Okay, so I would say Miss K was a teacher, right? You know me as the IB coordinator. I'm also a wife, a sister, a daughter, a lover of literature, a traveler. I like to travel. And I just, I love what I do here. And, I think that I try to make it as fun and enjoyable as possible for all of my IB students. So
you said you like to travel.
Yes.
What's the most recent place you've traveled?
Most recently, internationally, I went to Egypt. Not last summer, the summer before. Summer of 2024. And that was fun. That was my second time there, actually.
Did you see the pyramids?
Not this time. I saw them my first time there, but I did. I went to the beach. They have amazing beaches. And I just saw some of my husband's family and, caught up with them and saw parts of the country I don't think that, most people would, necessarily see unless they, knew someone from there or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All the touristy stuff I kind of did the first time around. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was really interesting. Okay. So my second question, right, is a little bit to do with how you said you were an English teacher.
Yes.
How did you get into teaching? Did you always know it was your calling?
No, I did not. So I've always loved literature, right? I've always loved English, but at first, believe it or not, when I was in college, I wanted to be a lawyer. That's what led me to major in English Lit. This idea that I was going to go to law school afterwards. That didn't work out because while I was in undergrad, I decided that I wanted to be a professor instead, and somehow I ended up in PR. I was doing PR after college and while I was getting my master's degree, and I just sort of continued with that and started growing in the company that I was with, until suddenly I had this epiphany and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be doing this. I think that I want to be teaching. So I had my master's, but I went back to school. I went to Hunter College actually to get basically my teaching credits and my certification and stuff to start teaching.
That's really interesting. Yeah. So not only are you the English teacher, you're also the IB coordinator.
Yes.
And we've thrown out that word a bunch of times on our podcast, but we don't explain it. So can you, as the IB coordinator, explain what is the IB diploma program?
Yeah, so the IB diploma program is, I would say, a college prep, college readiness program. It's the opportunity for students to get kind of a feel for what college is like in terms of academics and all of that stuff. Similar to AP, right, in that you can get college credit for the classes that you take, but different because in the IB you have the opportunity to get like a whole diploma. AP doesn't have that. And in the IB, some of the classes are 2 years long. I mean, you guys know that, right? You're IB students. With the AP classes, they all kind of end in like one exam. IB has multiple assessments in each class. And so those are just like some of the differences there between those two.
And as an IB coordinator, what is your job in this program?
Oh my God, where do I start? Okay, so I have to register students for the exams that they're going to take. I have to basically coordinate, right, between students and teachers and make sure, teachers have everything they need to teach their classes and students have everything they need to do well in their classes. I basically have to communicate, right, with the IB to make sure that we're following all of the requirements and where I have to submit all of the other assessments too, right, like the IAs and all of those things. I have to touch base with the E and CAS coordinators to make sure students are fulfilling those requirements. It's a lot. There's like a whole list, right? But part of it too that maybe people don't realize is that, I'm just there also for when students just need to vent. It's a tough program because it's very, it's challenging, it's rigorous. And so, my door's always open to students that just want to come in and, breathe or complain or ask for help that they maybe they need a little bit more of it than they're getting. I don't know, but a shoulder to cry on sometimes.
We definitely do a lot of complaining.
Yeah,
but we're the ones who signed up for it, so it's kind of our fault too.
Listen, it happens. You're gonna complain in college too, so
Yeah, my motto is that I'll get the work done, I'll just complain about
that's
it.
okay, as long as the work is done. It's fine. Totally fine.
So me and Stephanie, as IB diploma students, we know what kind of classes we are taking, we know what kind of classes you guys offer, but our listeners don't know that. So could you elaborate on what are the different kind of classes you can take as an IB student here?
So if you want to do IB, you can either do the full diploma program, or you can take like one or a couple of IB classes. It's up to you. If you do the full diploma program, you're going to take IB History, IB English, either IB Physics or IB Bio, either IB Spanish or IB French, IB Math, of course, and then you get to choose an elective, either IB Visual Art, IB Econ, or IB Sports. And then if you're full IB, you also have to take TOK. And you also have to do the EE, and you also have to do the CAS requirements. So that's if you're full IB. If you're not full IB, you can take, like I said, one class, a couple of classes, whatever like interests you, really. And you can kind of like mix and match with AP and our other advanced courses.
Okay, so you did mention how you can mix and match between AP and IB. So while you're doing the IB diploma program, per se, you can take AP classes and dual enrollment classes at the same time?
Yes, for sure. And also, since we don't offer an AP English class, right? We do offer in the IB English class the AP English exam. So like you guys are in IB English, if you want to take the AP English exam, we can register you for that as well. And then you'll take the IB English exam and that as well. And so you have kind of like double the opportunity for college credit there.
You've mentioned some of the requirements. There's a lot of abbreviations in IB. So what is TOK and what is CAS?
Okay. So TOK stands for Theory of Knowledge. It is a course. It's only a year long. First half of it is in the second semester of junior year, and it goes into the first semester of senior year. And I think the best way to explain it is sort of kind of like a philosophy type course where you're like thinking about knowledge, right? Theory of knowledge, or thinking about knowledge. What is knowledge? How do we acquire knowledge, right? What does it mean to be knowledgeable? All of these different things, and you're kind of exploring that. And then CAS, creativity, activity, and service. is that service. So it asks students to serve, right? The IB wants to, excuse me, create well-rounded individuals. So yes, IB students have to be good students. They have to get good grades, but they also have to serve their community in some way and give back in some way. And CAS allows for students to do that. There's a whole CAS coordinator to make sure that students are doing that and to help them do that.
Right. And then for every class, we have the IA.
Yeah.
And then for both of our language classes, we have the IO. So can
Yeah.
you explain those two?
So actually, the individual oral presentation that you have in English and Spanish, right, and in French, actually, that is the IA in those classes. So IA just stands for internal assessment. And the internal assessment, that's a difference between IB and AP. The internal assessment is, in the case of physics and history, like an essay, basically. In the case of English, Spanish, and French, it's an oral presentation. And it's something in addition to the exam that you actually sit for at the end of the course.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yep.
Well, you mentioned how for English we do the oral, but we also did an IA for English. So I was wondering where that plays in.
So that doesn't count as an IA.
It
That's just an additional
Well.
essay.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah.
We wrote the whole essay. We didn't know.
Yep. I don't assess you on the HL essay. That just gets sent off to the IB and they grade you.
Oh.
I assess you on the IO, and then the grades that I give are then kind of like double checked by the IB.
Yes, there's a lot of moderating within the
Yes.
IB.
Mm-hmm.
So, could you explain that a little bit about how that works?
So that's basically it, right? All of your IAs are graded by your subject teachers, your IB subject teachers, and then those grades get sent off to the IB, and then they basically double check. They look at the rubric and everything, and they double check that your teachers were, they weren't too lenient or they weren't like too harsh. Basically, is the best way that I can explain it.
Because you can lose your teaching license if they don't like the way you grade, right?
No, you don't lose your teaching license. You just
Well, I mean, like the
you just
teaching
get
the IB.
like scolded a little bit, but that's it. Yeah.
Stern talking.
Yeah, pretty much. Mhm. That hasn't happened
Oh, good.
to anybody,
Great.
so
That's good.
that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a lot about all the different requirements of the IB, everything that you have to do, but I want to hear a little bit about what are the benefits of IB? What are we as the students getting out of it?
Well, I don't know. What are you getting out of it? I mean, I can tell you what you're getting out of it, but I think it's better if you guys told me.
I think it's going to make college a lot easier
Yeah. Why?
because we are trained so hard right now.
That's a good word, training, right? It's training for college, literally. And if you're doing the full diploma, it's kind of like you're in college, isn't it? If all of your courses are IB and they're all rigorous and they're all, like they all have these expectations and all of these demands that they're putting, it's just like college. So, I mean, again, right, you get a preview of what college is like. So you're going to be steps ahead of,
Right.
the other freshmen next year.
Because there's a lot of alumni who come back to school and they're like, it's so much easier
Yep.
than IB.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It just is, I mean, you don't even have to get perfect grades in all of your IB classes for it to give you that training, right, of what college is like. You're not going to get perfect grades in college either. So just know that from now. It is what it is. You do your best and you try your best, and that's all you can do, right?
So thank you for teaching us about the IB. Before we end, we want to do 2 little fun questions about you. So the first one is, if you can teach another IB subject, you don't have to be certified or qualified for it, what would it be?
IB history.
History.
Yes. I'm not coming for anyone's job. But I like history in general, so I think I would enjoy teaching that class.
Miss McGinnis and Mr. Romano, watch out.
Yeah. No.
Okay, well, a second rapid fire question. If you could add one novel to our IB English syllabus, what book would you add and why?
Okay, so I've been trying to do this. I've been trying to fit this in. Bram Stoker's Dracula. I've been trying to do that one for a bit. I haven't been able to yet, but if I could, I would. Like that one, I love that book. And I love Gothic literature in general. So I think actually it would be a toss-up between Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
movie just came out.
Good movie.
I didn't watch the Oscars, so I don't know if it won.
They won Best Costume.
They
won
did?
Best
Oh my
Costume.
god, I'm so happy to hear that. I love that movie.
Well,
I didn't watch it.
I liked the I didn't see it, but I saw the
You guys
costume.
should watch that movie.
I should read the book.
It's a master. Yeah, and you should
I
read,
should
the, book,
read the
for
book.
sure. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to add one more question
'Kay.
because you're talking about travel. What's one place that you want to go to in the future?
One place. I really want to go. I don't know. I really want to go to Scotland. You know, growing up, I'm Greek, so you know, I've been to Greece a bunch of times. I used to go every summer as a kid and all that. I've seen the Mediterranean. You know what I mean? And I've been to Ireland before, and I like a dream of mine is to go to Scotland. It's just, I don't know, it looks magical, like a fairy tale, you know?
Yeah, like the castles.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love all that. Yep.
Yeah.
Where was the place that we were so convinced in sophomore year that we were moving?
Copenhagen.
I
Copenhagen.
thought you were moving there.
They had a college that was for free,
Ooh.
And
but
we
I
were
think it was like if you lived in
Yeah, I
Copenhagen.
think it was
Oh,
for
well,
Copenhagen
yeah, that makes more sense.
residents.
Yeah.
But we had this whole plan where we were gonna like apply to Copenhagen University
And then move.
and then move there.
You should look into study abroad programs in
Yeah.
college. Yeah. That's how you'll travel in college.
We'll talk a little bit more about college a little bit later.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm so happy that you had this conversation with us.
So
Thank
am
you so
I.
much.
You're very welcome. I
Yes,
enjoyed
thank
it.
you, thank you. We'll be
course.
right back with Anna and Tyler to talk about the IB experience with students. All right, we're back with this time. It's Elizabeth Riabov and Ana Kanashvili. How are you guys?
Good.
Good?
Pretty good, yeah.
Hi guys. How's your day so far?
Definitely very tiring, but it was okay for the most part.
I had 2 freeze first, so it was actually pretty good.
Okay, whatever.
So we just had a day off.
Yeah, basically.
Already tired, we just had a day off. Okay, so I want to get started a little bit to ask you about the IB. So, what classes are you in? General classes and IB classes?
Well, I mean, I'm full IB, so like I'm not gonna list all the IB classes, but the tracks that I'm in is IB Physics and IBR as my elective. But the general class is like college perspectives on Christianity and art class assistant. And then there's capstone, travel study, and golf. So those are more general class that I take.
Yeah, so I'm also full IB, but instead I take IB Bio, but I also take IB Visual Art, and I'm not in capstone, but our art is basically capstone. And then we all take TOK, but then I took the morning religion class. What was
Yeah.
it called?
Christian service.
Christian service, yes. And travel study as well. So, yeah.
So you guys remarked about how you guys are both full IB diploma students. So I'm wondering what drew you to the IB diploma? Like why did you want to do it?
I knew that I wanted to challenge myself in certain ways, and before coming into high school, I knew things about the AP program, and when I came here, I realized that there wasn't a lot of options for AP. I just took the ones that I could. But then I realized that the IB program would be much more sufficient in what I want, and there's definitely more room for growth because it's a 2-year program, and you can really look back on your work through your exhibitions and stuff. That's what I really liked. And definitely just the challenge of it all with the EE and TOK being a very unique class is what also drew me to the program.
I had a lot of upperclassmen friends at the time that were taking full IB, so I think that influenced me a lot, just talking to them a lot and hearing what happened. And then similar to Anna, I wanted to take like AP classes, but we didn't have as many, and I also wasn't applicable for a lot of them. But I knew I didn't want to continue. I wasn't a world scholar, so I was taking regular classes, and I wanted to start challenging myself knowing that it was going to be junior year already. So I think that for me was the biggest like choice of what to do there. So yeah, I kind of just took the risk and like, let me just do full IB and see how it goes.
Well, thank you. Well, Stephanie and I are also full IB diploma candidates, so I want to kick the question a little bit to you. What drew you specifically to IB?
I think it was the college credits, to be honest. I was like, a year off of college? Yes, please. Simple. What about you?
Well, I kind of came to say admin prep because of the IB diploma program. Like what IB is very publicized. So the first thing that I learned about the school was that we're the only Catholic high school that has the IB diploma program. Yeah, in the tri-state area. So I was really drawn to that because I thought it was very unique about the prep. So that and I've been always been like very drawn to like challenging myself in rigorous courses. So that was the IB diploma was a factor in like me going to the school at all. So.
That's really interesting. So out of all of your classes, which one is the easiest and which one is the hardest? And explain why.
Okay, in terms of easiest, I don't think there's an easy IB class. So I'm going to do like a best out of worst situation. Not to degrade art, but I think it's the easiest class because I just have the most fun in it. And the hardest one, it's probably history. And the reason I'm choosing that over physics is because physics is something that's more certain and there is an answer, but for history, there's not one straight answer. And I feel like there's a lot more evaluation to do in history, and physics is a bit more straightforward. So I'm going to go with that answer.
I would also say easiest art. Actually, my art is right behind us.
Yeah, so.
Yes. But I think it's just something that I've loved since like freshman year. I knew I wanted to do IB visual art regardless of full IB or not. It's just my entire like passion. And I think most hardest, probably IB bio. There's so much information, so much to study. Yeah, it's just a lot. Like you really have to know basically everything to do amazing at it.
And
so.
I could assume what your favorite class is, but please state your favorite class.
Art.
IB visual art.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just the teacher, Miss Barbieri, just makes it easy. You know, IB art is not an easy class overall, but when you have a teacher like that who lays everything out for you, I mean, it's really nice. And she also makes it really fun and, you know, laid back.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There are definitely difficult parts to it. Like, there's a lot of research you have to do. You have to practice a lot on your own. But I think my answer is definitely biased. I just love to do it regardless of how difficult it is. I like to challenge myself, especially in the arts. So
yeah, I think art's my favorite class too. But you don't take art.
I don't take art. I feel really left out right now. Everyone's gushing about how art is so great. I took IB economics.
That's rough.
And let me tell you, that class, it wasn't difficult, but it wasn't the most interesting class ever. I mean, it's probably interesting to a lot of people, but I'm more of a science person. I'm not like a social science person with how economics is a social science. I'm not a social science person like that. So that, but I couldn't do art to save my life. So that was out of the question anyway.
What would your favorite class be?
My favorite class, I think it's really funny because it's kind of the opposite of Anna's hardest class. My favorite class is history. Yeah. But that's just because I'm really good at it and I enjoy it. It used to not be my favorite class, but I really like our teacher, Miss McGinnis. We interviewed her.
She's definitely like an entertaining teacher. Like she makes the class
so
entertaining.
I love her class.
She's like, she makes everything so easy to understand. And I think that's my favorite part about it. So that's my favorite class. Moving on, you guys mentioned a little bit about TOK. Like we threw those words out there and we learned a little bit about the definition of TOK as we were talking to Miss K earlier. But TOK is like, it's a very unique class. And it's more of like a philosophy, like you have to think outside of the box. So what are some of the things that you've learned from TOK?
You go first.
I really enjoyed our Socratic seminars. Personally, it kind of just brought the idea that, like, first of all, the questions that they have are very, how do I say, there's so many different sides to it that you can go, but there's so many more sides regardless of yours you're not necessarily always going to be correct. Your opinion isn't always going to be correct, just like the other person. And I think sitting in a circle and kind of just speaking about it and bringing in different conversations and different perspectives is really important. So I don't think it was specifically like fact that I learned, but more just kind of in my head realizing that there's like 8 billion people in this world and that like we all have different opinions and it's good to sit and talk about them. So yeah,
Okay.
that.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that was a really good answer. I mean, for TOK, you just learn about knowledge. Like, you gain knowledge about knowledge, which I really liked. It was kind of like a paradox, but I really liked it. But another thing, so obviously we go to a Catholic school, and most things are pretty Catholic centered, and about Christianity. But in TOK, like, we got to learn about different religious experiences, especially from Miss Howell. And I feel like opening myself up to that kind of culture shock and learning more about those religions, even in a knowledge class, it was very interesting. And to be able to apply learning about different religions to learning about different perspectives, like how Liz said, like, you're not the only person in this world that is going to have an original thought. It is going to be multiple different experiences and perspectives that overlap. And I feel like that made me more conscious of that. I think I beat your answer. I'm not gonna lie.
Competitive streak we have over here. All right. So earlier you said that TOK is all about knowledge, just the theory of knowledge. You're learning about knowledge. I want to know how TOK has helped you form and consume knowledge, like the broad perspectives and things like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so definitely, this is still very TOK specific, but my EE and my TOK essay helped me a lot with developing outside of the course and outside of what my school teaches me, or rather our school, because my EE was about feminism, and I was able to apply that to Jane Austen's works, specifically Pride and Prejudice. And from that, I was able to do a lot of research that you typically wouldn't do about theories like feminism. And my TOK essay, I got to delve more into how I was able to connect history and art, and not just like art history, being able to connect the two in the context of that. So that knowledge of research helped me in my other classes, like capstone or physics or history, whatever you want to, do research in. That just helped me get a better sense of it because it was outside of your typical subjects.
I think for me personally, I was able to blend two subjects together. Like for my TOK essay, I blended math and art, which kind of seemed very opposite to each other. Yeah, but I was able to kind of bring them together and prove a point on how, I don't remember what my TOK essay question was, but it was approximately about like culture and like how not everything is how they seem in a way. So I think it kind of made me appreciate math more, because to me art is such an important thing, and being able to see how those two connect, like something that I like and something that I don't like as much, how they connect, I think helped me tremendously just overall my work. And I take AP Calc, so.
So we've talked a lot about all the work that you guys had to do, and how are you able to manage your stress and the workload and not get like burnt out and just fail?
Okay, so this might seem a little weird. Okay, so wait, hold on. So I'm involved in like a lot of extracurriculars, on top of the whole IB stuff. But basically, if my schedule is like hour to hour, where it's school at 2:40 and then 2:40 to like 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is like robotics, and then 1 hour at the gym, and I'm able to like give time to all these activities. Like, I can't stray off the clock. So when I put all that stuff together, I'm able to like get it over with and then go to sleep, right? If that makes sense. Like, I leave hours for each of my hobbies and my work also at the same time. So I'm able to have a balance, but it's like, again, it's paycheck to paycheck, hour to hour. Like, yeah.
Okay, so I would like to preface that I do theater. And that is from like November to March, but it takes up a long bit of my time. It's like I literally after this I'm supposed to have it 3 to 5 p.m. That is a good form of distraction. I think this might get a little deep, like failure. Like, I'm truly afraid to fail, let's say. I think, especially like a year in a way, it's like I've already done it for a year. Why let myself fail now? What is the point? I understand why people leave it. It's a lot, but at the same time, I think I was like I was never like an 100 student, more like like 90s, you know. So the fact that I can, like, I know if I was in regular classes, I would get lazy. Like my laziness like fluctuates, you know. Like I can let it. So like if I were in regular classes, I would probably let the laziness let me get an 80 in a regular class when I can get the same grade and even better in IB. So I think I just know what it would lead me to, and also my ego, because I can say, "Oh, I'm in full IB," and it just it makes me feel a little better about myself, knowing that I am somehow capable of doing it, and that like the like sleepless nights and not too many, but like just the more difficult moments of it kind of pay off because I feel proud of myself. I could say, "Oh, I wrote a 4,000 word essay for a TOK," and to me now it's kind of like an easier thing to say, right? So, yeah.
I mean, that's real. I mean, like, we do a lot of work.
Yes.
But every single time we complete something, it makes the next thing easier and easier and so on. And the next thing for all of us, because we're all seniors here, is college. So that's going to make college a little bit easier. So.
Yeah. But like you were saying about these 4,000 word essays, how are you able to do your IAs and your IOs? How's that going for you guys?
Well, I know the teachers like communicate with each other a lot. Like, basically Miss McGinnis, like we had our I do like before, like around Thanksgiving. Mr. Wagner gave it to us around this time, like February, March. Our EE was due in October, so like they were able to organize it where they just doesn't pile up on each other. And you know, with art, we're working on it throughout the 2 years, right? So it's nice to have that security of like, okay, the teachers are able to communicate, and that's what I appreciate too. And they don't pile up on each other. And the exhibition, you're working on it for over a really long time, so you really have no excuses. So yeah, you kind of get to do one step each time, but it's not an easy step. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's still organized to a point where you're able to do it and do it moderately well.
I agree. And to piggyback, for the IAs and the EEs, you get to kind of choose what you write, and that's a big part about IB as well. It lets you kind of write what you want in a way. Obviously, you still have to follow certain rules, and well, like Anna said, like they give us like certain dates to finish things to make it easier. You don't have to follow them, but you probably should. But I think just finding things that are more interesting for you makes it at least a little bit easier than it already is. And like I said with the eco thing, I tell my friends, man, I have this IA due that's like 20 pages, and it kind of makes me feel better about myself. And it kind of does, because they're like, whoa, 20 pages, that's so much. I'm like, yeah, but I'll do it, don't worry. And then I like end up telling people, yeah, I did a 20-page thing, or 4,000 words. And like, I don't know, it makes it feel more worth it that I'm doing this. You know, like once I get the diploma, it'll be like, well, this is what I did for it, and it's kind of worth it in a way. So yeah.
I do want to add, because it's not on here, how are you guys with like CAS? Because it breaks you away from working on like paper and stuff, and you have to go out into the real world and put yourself out there.
So I have like 5,000 different hobbies. So, and you know, I kind of tell myself like, why am I picking up all these hobbies when like I don't dedicate each time to be a master at one? I just like trying things. So CAS definitely gave me an excuse to try all those things out. So I definitely like that. You know, for example, the activity section of CAS, I gave myself the excuse to try new things at the gym, because I have like this very strict workout split that I go by, like back and buys, triceps, chest and shoulders, and then legs and the rest, whatever. But when in between those workouts, I was able to like put in running or a different exercise or something that I was afraid to try at the gym, but then I could talk about in my CAS, or like pushing myself to work more with my band, because I was able to, hey, I got this thing for CAS I need to do, and we got to get on that. So, you know, definitely like giving myself an excuse to try out new things was because of CAS, and it fostered like creativity. It's literally one of the sections, so I really like that about CAS. It's definitely one of the more fun things about IB.
I'm gonna be honest, when I was speaking to Miss Diodato on the IB day, I realized that I didn't have to do anything extra, and that I already got everything done, and none of it was like, I had in the back of my head, oh, this could be good for CAS, but it was all just from my own personal experiences. I think for me personally, I I constantly want to be better at whatever I do, and I think that's a great thing. And like Cass goes, what is it? Creativity, activity service, not activeness service. So for a creativity example, I think I'm one of the biggest creatives you'll find. I love to do.
think you filled that.
I filled it very, very easily. I love to do everything, and like even like the behind the scenes paintings, but I always want to do better. Like I got into digital art, sculpting. Like there's just always something I want to do more at. And then with activeness, I mean, we have also classes that, like, let's say I took weight training. That was something that we took. I just wanted to start going to the gym, for my own like health and physique. Thanks. So that was it. Service. I think the school makes service very easy and accessible for us. We have St. John's, we have our classes, we have freshman mentors. So honestly, I didn't like Cass didn't feel like a connection to IB to me, not in a bad way, but more just because I think I'm that kind of person to where I would love to do everything, not all at once, but just get better at everything in a way. So I didn't. I think it definitely helped me stray away from the writing, but in a way that like any hobby that I have or any like after school thing that I have would help me stray away from IB. It's kind of like it's not its own thing to me. It's just a part of everything else that I do that is not academics. Because I tell myself, like I said, I'm not a 100 student. I try really hard in my school work, but I think having a life is very, very important as well and very healthy. So, yeah.
It's very important that Cass like encourage you to have a life outside of all these IAs and IOs and EEs.
Definitely.
And it seems like it came really natural to you. Like Anna, it pushed you to go do more things, but it came very naturally to you. Like it was like intuitive. So that just shows how there's like a bunch of different ways that like you could get all the IB requirements done. It's not a hassle. Like sometimes it's natural, sometimes it pushes you to be better. So I really like that. Wow. We've talked a lot about IB art.
Definitely.
But we haven't actually like went into what you two specifically were doing, and even Stephanie's in IB art as well.
Yes, I
So
am.
I wanted to hear a little bit more about each of like your projects, your themes, and like what was your process like. Explain to me a little bit like what it was, and then explain like the process and things like that.
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. So my theme centered around femininity, but not your typical like pretty and dainty and whatever. Like it showed how, these social expectations that come from femininity or the expectation of how women should be, it factored into how it makes us maybe as a whole feel. We all have our own unique experiences as women, even now and throughout history. And I kind of want to get a general consensus of a stage that we might go through in life. So basically the when you're oblivious to these expectations but you're still experiencing it, and then the realization of this, and then the stage of being able to internalize it and being able to not only live with it but to fight against it and have a place in society with it. And finally the ability to look it in the face and say like, these expectations don't control me and I don't need to be like what you perceive me to be. And it's kind of hard to put that into paintings, but I was able to do that with like symbolism, and flowers are a big thing in women and the blossoming nature of women. So I was able to use symbols like that, and also age. And I made age out to be a positive thing rather than something that we as women get degraded about. So that's kind of like a general sentence or sentences about my theme.
Well, that's really interesting. You could see how like IB art allowed you to capture like bigger things and bigger
Definitely.
themes and like condense it and make it very accessible to other people. And I really like that.
So our RB grade splits into 3 different sections. It's the exhibition, like Anna explained hers, and then we have our progress portfolio, which I think was really easy for Cass too, because it kind of forced you to try something new and try different mediums like sculpting. Yeah, that helped a lot. I use sculpting as one of my Cass stuff.
I never imagined I would too. Like,
Yes.
sculpting is kind of crazy.
Well, you sculpt, do you not?
I mean, I started because of IB art. Yeah. So I definitely agree.
So yeah, there's that, and then we have our comparative study, which I think was the hardest. It was essentially you had to choose two pieces from two different artists from two different times, two different parts of the world, kind of compare and contrast the two. Like I did self-portraits, but my theme was remembrance of the unfading detail. So it sounds really fancy, but it's pretty simple. It's essentially you know those really specific memories that you have, and like it's kind of weird, like why do I remember that? It's that in addition to as you grow older and as you kind of come to the end of your life, all of those like different versions of yourself merge in a way and kind of not collect, but they bring together all of those most important memories that will kind of forever encapsulate in you and will like they kind of like form you as a person, as a soul on your own. So for me, like I had 5 pieces, and I had my bedroom, I had my like a childhood book that I remember really distinctly. Like all these things are really like important to me as a person, and then I had when it was like 4 of me kind of looking into different directions, how they're all going through different parts of their lives, yet they will all still remember like that bedroom or that like really specific detail. That's kind of weird of why I remember that. And I did sculpt. I sculpted like a kind of not a skull, but it was just kind of like a deformed face, kind of, and I had like red string around it. Like it basically had all of those memories, those important memories together. So I think I try to put emphasis on those like important memories and how it brings you together to yourself. So yeah. Okay. What about you, Stephanie?
Oh, thanks. Well, mine was on the feeling of home and how like it's not just a specific place that makes you feel at home. There's much more to it, like personal experiences and senses. So I had a bunch of tactile ones that you were able to feel like a soft blanket or feel like the bed that I made out of popsicle sticks. I had food and I had music, and I just like tried to bring in a vibe that would allow the viewer to make sense of home to them, not as a physical place, but more as like an idea. But your guys is like they're so deep compared to mine.
No, yours is beautiful. I can't
Thank
even
you.
lie.
No, I really like it, especially the big dollhouse. I wish you guys could see it. I think it's posted on the Instagram. If you guys look at the Instagram, you should look at you see the big dollhouse and with the fireplace on the wall. That's Stephanie's, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. And all of them are gorgeous.
It too.
She
like,
built it.
Carpenter style.
Yeah, really.
How has this program benefited you?
Definitely like prepared me for work, like the workload, because I know some of our alumni came, like people who just graduated 1 or 2 years ago, and they're like, the IB program is harder than my very prestigious school. I'm like, what are you talking about? But yeah, no. Yeah, one of the alumni came and she was basically saying how the IB program is harder than her very difficult university, and you know, a lot of programs or classes won't give you that same experience. So it's definitely like a preview or even training for these hard classes that you're gonna end up taking whether you like it or not. And it also, IB, even though it shows you sometimes you're not gonna be the smartest person in the room or you're not gonna be smart in general, it still gives you the confidence that you have the ability to do this. Even if you didn't do it well, it's the fact that you did it. And not a lot of people can say that. I mean, the IB program is very popular in America. It's more obviously international. So yeah, just when I tell like my other friends about the IB program, they look at me like I'm crazy. But yeah, it's because they just can't imagine doing the same things because their schools are more AP dominant. Not to say that they're not. I mean, AP Calc is not to be joked with. But yeah, just overall, the difficulty is what I enjoyed and what I feel like benefited me the most in a multitude of areas.
Yes, AP Calc should not be dealt with. I should have said that's my worst place. It's
Yeah,
not.
no,
I
read it
meant
now.
I was trying to get a class from IB that was the hardest, but that one is definitely is. But just like Anna said, I think it definitely has trained me. Alumni come from Miami and say, well, she does marketing, so I don't know, but she that's kind of subjective. But she did say it was so much easier. It definitely has trained me, and like I said, my laziness fluctuates really bad. I think I need to be held by like a leash essentially because, and I'm not kidding because.
Oh, okay.
No, oh, wait, hold on. But because like if I were to be in regular classes right now, I know that like I would somehow end up getting like 80s because I'd become lazy, and it's just because I'm in regular class or whatever. So I think the fact that I chose this for myself, and I have to do good, to get the diploma and stuff like that, and obviously like make myself and my parents proud. It just set me to do my work, and like even if it's difficult, you have to somehow find a way and try and like fluctuate your time. Even though I feel like I have become more of a procrastinator, but it's okay.
Senioritis is real, people, and it's bad.
I got senioritis last year.
No, genuinely.
Yeah, it's actually getting worse.
I think like the biggest thing that I've learned from IB is failure. Honestly, like my first physics quiz that I got back, I failed, and
many more after.
It was devastating for me because I don't really fail quizzes or tests or anything, but after failing so many times, I'm like, it's a part of life, and just like you just gotta deal with it. So I think that's like a big thing that I've learned about it.
I have noticed that our like ways of thinking of this has changed. I've noticed so many more times we're like, whatever, whatever happens. Because a year ago I'd be like, no wait, my life is like I got a 60 on this quiz, like I don't know what to do.
And now I average 60.
Yeah, honestly, senioritis is making it okay for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, and then that I don't think that's a bad way. Like I feel like I'm making it sound like we're getting lazier because of it, but in a way, like so many students that are like at a higher percentage, like they really like have panic attacks. They really worry about their grades, and like only a few can really like be in a full IB and keep up 100s. I'm looking at you. But I don't know, personally, like maybe I probably could if I really put my mind to it, but I would have to do so much more. And I'm satisfied with where I am. At least I took the step to do it, So,
Yeah, it like brings you down to earth and makes you realize like, okay, again, you're not the smartest person in the room. Like if you fail a test or 2 or 5, like it's gonna be fine. Like it brings you down to earth. It makes you realize like if you fail something, again, your life is not gonna be over.
Any advice for some upcoming sophomores who are thinking about the IB program, or any advice for juniors who are becoming seniors and finishing off their IB experience?
With sophomores, okay, like if you think you're not capable to do it, you're probably capable to do it. Like I'm gonna put it out there, because you have to find ways to challenge yourself, because this is the only time where you actually have the option to. And in college, you're gonna be going in there with like your gen ed classes, and you're gonna be like, yeah, this is not it. But with the IB, you have that choice to challenge yourself, and when you do challenge yourself, you learn your pros and your cons, and then you're able to work on those cons before you get to the real stuff of college. And for the juniors, I have like a few junior friends who are saying like, oh, I'm going to drop IB because of this class and this class. You're telling me you went through a whole year of IB torture and like constantly studying and whatever, and again, challenging yourself, and you're going to tell me you're going to drop it when in senior year it's just writing research papers and just a little bit of content. I just say it's not worth it, because you already went through the first year, you already know how to do it. Why not just go take it to the end? And dropping it because of one class, it's like,
It's about persistence.
exactly, yeah, it's about perseverance and knowing that even if you didn't do well, you did it, So I say don't. I tell them don't drop it, or I'm gonna get mad.
You just have to prove to yourself that you can.
Exactly. Even if you didn't do it as well as you expected, or as well as other people expected you to. So definitely not.
Yeah, I was on the brink of leaving full IB because of IB bio, so but I agree 100%. I was gonna say for sophomores, you got this.
Yeah.
It's all right. Like I don't know. Like I understand that I try to tell people, especially the juniors, because I remember in the beginning of the year, someone, like people tell me like, oh my god, like I don't know what to do. Like I'm failing my first class. I'm like, you will be okay. I promise you. And like if you have a mindset of where it's like it's either I get in hundreds or I die, you probably won't. You have to fix that mindset, because in a way, like it's really it's possible, but it's really kind of impossible to do that and have a life and be okay socially and mentally and all that things. So I think you should do it as a challenge because, like you said, like you go to gen ed classes, like it's gonna be easier for you 100%. And I think in a way, it just challenges yourself. It makes you kind of reflect more. I don't know. I'm a person that reflects a lot, but it does make you reflect a lot on like who you are as a student, what you're capable of. Can you do more? Can you do less? You know, like just I feel like this is the time to play around with it. And also, a lot of sophomores, like a lot of people in full IB, were world scholars. I was not a world scholar. You guys kind of had to, you had a choice, but it was much easier for you to go to full IB. And I know a lot of sophomores that are world scholars that want to go to full IB. And I tell you, if you're taking AP Euro now, which I don't know how AP Euro was, I never took it, it seems difficult. So if you're okay with that, I think you will be okay with full IB. You would just need a little more
I don't
work.
know. I feel like AP Euro was harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just looking around.
No, I don't know how it was, but if it was harder, then you guys will be okay. Like, I didn't do AP Euro, so maybe it was kind of like a kick in the butt, or I didn't have Miss K sophomore year. Like, I had to do this whole interview with Miss K to get into full IB, and I had to get a recommendation from every single teacher. Did you guys do that?
No.
I had to get a recommendation from every single teacher. Yeah, I don't know. My biggest thing for juniors, maybe this is just me, but I think this applies to a lot of seniors, it's going to get kind of difficult during college application season. Miss McGinnis was aware of that, and she, like, made it easier for us. But, like, overall, like, you guys got this. I think you guys will be okay. Just be aware, take care of yourself well, and also challenge yourself at the same time. So.
I couldn't say it any other way. Those perfect answers.
I really like that. And I would add one thing that, like, everyone knows teenagers are dramatic. But sometimes we're not being dramatic. Sometimes we're being
Not when it comes to the IB program.
100% serious. So I'll tell you right now, viewers, if you are a junior or a sophomore and you're rising to the IB or you're rising to a senior IB student, you during college application season of your senior year, you need to lock in. You need to.
You're starting to scare them.
You need to lock. You start banging your hands on the table.
This sounds like an apocalyptic, like,
no, like
zone,
you need
like,
to lock. You need to like
You really
not
do, though.
let IB overwhelm you. You need to like take the proper precautions to make
take a
sure
moment.
that IB is you're balancing IB, your mental health, and college applications at the same time, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed, but there are resources here, there are resources in the IB department, and you can make it a lot easier on yourself if you start early. So that's what I would say. Start early.
I will say, when they say do your college essay during the summer, do your college essay during the summer, because I regretted it. But I got it done. That's where we like to ask a little, like, rapid fire questions, hypothetical questions.
Making me nervous.
So I'm going to start first with some, like, on-topic questions. So first question is, if you can retake any class, what would it be? It does not have to be IB.
Probably fashion. Is that crazy to say?
Oh, I wasn't
Fashion.
even thinking of that class.
Yeah, because I mean, I got to push myself and be in the junk couture competition, and I won an award for this school. Or we, sorry,
Wow.
me, Elizabeth, I sewed like almost all of the dresses.
Oh, yeah, you could. Okay, you can
No,
say
no,
that, you
no,
can say that.
no, but she did the sketches or whatever. But
I'll just say
me, Elizabeth, and Tyler Badillo, we were able to win an award for the school for the first time ever. So having that like prideful moment, like, you know, I would love to relive that again.
You said a specific class. Yoga. I liked yoga.
I liked yoga.
It was a great class. It honestly, and I'm not even kidding, like, I used to be pigeon-toed, and so, like, I went to. Okay. You know what pigeon-toed is? Like, your feet are supposed to go like this.
Fun facts about Elizabeth.
I used to be. Well, maybe I still am. I don't know, but I used to be very pigeon-toed, and I went to physical therapy for it. I used to sleep with like a cast, and right now I put soles in my shoes to help me stand, like, walk straight. But, like, I'm very inflexible, and being able to, like, with yoga, I I don't know. I feel like for a lot of people, like, this isn't the case for them. They just did yoga because it's a good, like, class to take. But it helps with my flexibility a lot. I think it genuinely strengthened my, like, ankles.
Okay, so for some more rapid fire questions, we have most recent show watched.
Oh my god.
The
Heated
Pit.
rivalry.
Oh, yeah, Heated Rivalry. But I did start watching The Pit recently, which is just as good, but Heated Rivalry was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I've been watching The Pit.
favorite show,
The Office.
Both of her answers.
favorite cheese,
Brie, because it's soft and I like the rind sometimes.
Camembert, I tried it for the first time recently. It was really good.
okay, and go to Chipotle order.
Okay, sometimes if I'm really hungry, extra white rice, chicken, extra corn, tomatoes, green salsa, and if I'm feeling rich, guac with lettuce.
Ooh.
Okay, white rice, black beans, chicken, guac, sour cream, sometimes lettuce.
I'm gonna share
Yeah,
mine
and
for
chips and
fun.
guac.
I'm gonna share mine for fun. Double double meat, steak and chicken. Very basic lettuce, cheese, guac. I'm feeling real rich. Queso. My Chipotle order comes out to like $25. If you guys could have one superpower, what would it be?
Time travel.
Telekinesis. Stephanie, time travel.
Stopping time. That concludes our rapid fire section and our not so rapid fire section before. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Yes,
And thank you, you viewers. I know that you guys are very busy people.
I'm going to the gym after this. I don't know what you're talking
I have theater. I told myself this was gonna take 10 minutes.
Oh. Oopsie daisy.
It is like 10 after 4 or 5, whatever. I don't even know what time
Well,
it is.
thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming with us on this journey.
Very grateful that I got the
I
invite.
had a very
Yes,
fun
me too.
time today. Did you have fun?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think still a little salty.
We had
still.
fun. So we'll see you on our next episode.
Bye.